Hey, Rob Brown with Clark Marine.
Hey, Nelson with Clark Marine. How you guys doing?
Good. Got our tech shirts in today. We're going to do a tech tip for you today. So, what are we doing now?
Well, we got a couple of starters right here, and we've had a lot of questions about this over the past. Why should we use a marine starter versus an automotive starter?
That's a good point. And I think, well, first of all, this time of the year, man, working with our sales guys, sales staff, our phones have been blowing up, our emails been blowing up. You know, boating is definitely on the rise, and I think with this COVID thing going on, you know, you're able to keep your what they call a social bubble, I guess, you know,
distance,
and distance, and it's become then again that much more popular. It's something we can all do outside, and still enjoy. But what we're also finding is that there are so many boats. I think the data available to us is that for every one new boat is sold, there's 4 used boats sold, and most of those boats are sold what would be considered driveway to driveway, and a lot of times
I did hear that from some of the sources that we've been kind of going through over the winter.
I think it's Polk Foundation or Polk or whatever. But what the point of it is that we're finding boats that haven't been used in a few years are all of a sudden, you know, the value has risen, and people are bringing things out of their garages, out of the backyard. They're working on the stuff. They're making it ready to go. In some cases, if they're leaving boating, they're selling it. And of course, this is what we see in a lot of cases, is that stern drive engine is basically a car engine. You know, we've got 2 different types of propulsion that we deal with. We're not too much into the diesel. We've got outboards, and then we have what is a stern drive, inboard or straight inboard, which are basically an automotive engine.
Automotive engine that's inside the boat with the drive system on the outside.
Exactly.
Yep.
What we see is that the engines that are made for boats, they call it marinized, so that they have certain components about it, camshafts, most of the electronics, distributors, your alternators, and then again your starters that have to meet a standard that make them what is called ignition protected.
So what's that actually mean?
Ignition protected is a system that is a certification that states that the component can live and operate in an area where there could be flammable hydrocarbons, gasoline, without causing, I hate to use the term, an explosion or whatnot. And that's why we've got the starter here today.
So what would cause the explosion between this one and this one?
I think you take a look at these two starters.
To me, they look kind of the same.
They are. The body of this is a little bit larger. And they're both a General Motors starter and offset. You can see this on a 3.0. You can see it on a 4.3, a 5.0, 5.7s. Very common starter. The big difference here is if you look at this is a marine starter. It has, for one, it has an SAE certification on it that basically states that it's good for use in a marine application.
I don't see that certification on this one.
This one doesn't really need to, and in most cases, you know, with an automotive application, if there are any fumes that exist, it's going to go down around the engine and dissipate underneath the vehicle. With a marine application, any gasoline or any fumes that are from, say, an old fuel hose or something, or from the carburetor itself, any of the fumes that exist are going to cycle down past the engine and are going to live in the bilge of the boat.
So
that's where
that comes in. So you're saying that if there are fumes in a car, they go right out of the bottom
and they dissipate. You know, you don't have.
How do you get rid of that in the boat?
In a boat, this is the other. If there's 2 things that we see with a used boat coming in, 20 years old, you know, nothing wrong with it. and in most cases, people don't really know the difference. They go to an automotive store and they see a starter and it fits and it's 120 bucks. This is 275. There's a big difference. Also, we see, this is a blower. You'll see it. It's attached to the inside of a well, you know, the motor well. The hose goes up. There's a couple of scuppers. This lives underneath the motor. This is something you get into the boat. You turn the key on. Before you start the engine, you turn this fan on. Basically, is what it is.
Okay.
And it pulls any of those fumes out of the bilge before you ignite the starter as a second. So a lot of times you'll see a used boat come in and the blower, obviously it doesn't work. In most cases, if you're new to boating, you wouldn't even know to look for this.
Know to look for it.
And two, they're looking at, we need to make sure that if we're working on it, it has a marine certified starter. That's a real important piece. So if you are looking at a used stern drive, and you're looking driveway to driveway, even buying from a dealer, take your own time to look at this stuff. You know, make sure the blower works. Make sure it's got a marine grade starter in it. Really, really important.
Sounds like those are two very important pieces to make sure.
Just to start with, you know, I mean, just to start with. Could you start the motor on this and see how it runs? Fine, yes. But down the road, when it's time to really put it in operation, make sure it has a marine grade starter in it. You know, bad things can happen. Your family's going to be in this boat. If something, you know, negative were to happen due to this or the oversight of this, man, it could change your day, your week, your year. I mean, so you really don't want to do it. So. Hey, that's what we've got for this week's tech tip.
Yep.
So once again, it's one thing I want to point out too is, you know, anytime please use us as a resource. If you have any questions, you'd like a boat checked out, we make provision for that.
Stuff.
We've got a library back here. If somebody would like to come in and work on their own stuff, we'd be more than happy to coach you as we can. We sell parts. If you'd like to buy a marine starter and install it yourself, we'll give you a hand on showing you how to do it. And, you know, that's just some of the services we
small
provide.
things that we can do. Yep.
Good. Rob Brown with Clark Marine.
Nelson Bowden, Clark Marine.
Tech tip to start the year.